Welcome back to another episode of Sold As Is. In today's episode, we're going to go over a condensed version of the home buying process.
All right, everybody, welcome back to podcast number 4, Sold As Is. Tom and Matt, we're back again, Hassan.
Back at it again.
I love it. Hey, today we are going to talk about the home buying process. And I just felt it was important that people see our buying process, how we help buyers, from beginning to end. So I just thought maybe you and I would sit here and kind of just shoot the stuff here and let everybody know how we do it.
Yeah, I mean, let's just start with it. You know, you're a first-time home buyer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, Tom, I'm thinking about purchasing a home. Like, where do I start? What do I do?
Right.
You know, like...
I mean, and I'm just going to take a case that we just talked about over the weekend. There was a guy at our gym, right?
Yep.
And he was talking about, hey, is it a good time to buy? And we were like, look, it's always a good time to be in real estate and own real estate. But, you know, the first thing that you and we do is we get them out exploring.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about, let's go out and let's start looking at floor plans. Let's start looking at square footage, locations, price points, different cities. Where do you want to be?
Which I think is a little not counterintuitive, but goes against the grain of what normal agents would do.
Right.
Because I have found that when I've spoken to, you know, clients that maybe it's our first time interacting, they're kind of shocked that I'm willing to go out and show them properties without, you know, like, you don't need my pre-qualification letter, you don't need anything. I'm like, no, man, like, let's just go out, let's see if what's on the market or what our inventory has to offer even makes sense for you. Why am I going to make you go through the jumps and hoops to go all do this when, you know, you may be like, you know what, the market's just not right for me. You know, I can't get what I'm looking for.
Yeah. And there's a lot of agents out there that do have a different philosophy.
Yeah.
I'm not getting anybody in my car that's not pre-qualified. Yeah. And they're right. It just hasn't been what's worked for me for the last 25 years. It hasn't been how you and I have run our business. And, you know, I think technology and information that's out there right now on the web, all the buyers know, you know, the basics of, you know, don't buy a new car if you're getting ready to buy a home, right? Mm-hmm. Or don't charge on your credit cards, don't co-sign for anybody, you know, keep your debts low. I mean, that's all common knowledge now. So, you know, we see these stories of don't do this and don't do that. And it's like, how many thousands of videos are we going to see? So I think if there is a buyer out there, they've seen enough of those videos to know about the pre-qualified process, right? Yeah. I mean, it is important.
Yeah.
And we do cross that, you know. I always like to say there's 3 things that qualify a buyer for a home, and that's credit, that's income, and then the third one being collateral. Right. Collateral being, is the property going to appraise for what it's worth, you know? It's about really going out and dreaming with them and exploring with them and getting them in the car and just hanging out and really finding out what really they're looking for, right?
Exactly.
And then once we get that, we can start going out and previewing those houses for them and then taking them back to the winners.
I would prefer to do that, to be honest, and I have done that with one of our recent transactions where I went out and I previewed homes and I shot videos and I did all that, and I'm like, hey, look, out of the 10 homes that you're matching, these 3 are the winners. Right. Clearly, by my experience with you, based on what I know, your do's, your don'ts, what you like. Right. So I would prefer to, you know, spend 30 or an hour out of my day to go do these and just bring you back to the winners.
Right. All right. So we dreamt with them, got them pre-qualified, and now we're talking about writing an offer. What do we do?
Well, a lot of our business is relationship based. Yeah. So our main objective is to reach out to and open a line of communication with the other agent. Right. See what the seller's looking for. Right. Do they need some type of rent back, or meaning that they're looking for a choice of home and they need to stay in the home for a little bit? Or is it an investment property that hey, look, I'm just looking for the best price with the best terms. Right. So opening that line of dialogue is kind of important on our end to know how clean to write our offer with terms, right? Escrow dates. We want to keep our inspection contingencies tight, appraisal contingencies, and all these other, things that go in the contract. We want to make sure we keep them as tight and aggressive as possible. Yeah. Our market is shifting a little bit. Going out there and writing, things that are super aggressive may be a thing that was, when interest rates were at 3%.
No appraisal contingencies. Yeah. We're leaving those in right now. Having to write 100,000 over asking price might not be the thing. And I think you hit it on the head, is really kind of writing a clean offer with good terms. And I mean, when you look at the last couple of deals that we just put into escrow, it was really the relationships that we had with those listing agents that got us those deals. There were 9 offers on pretty much on both of those properties, and they took our offer even though we weren't the highest. And I think that says a lot about, you know, the agent that a buyer chooses, because if that agent has a great reputation of working with good buyers that are realistic, that perform and they close, that's what a listing agent's really looking for.
Correct.
You know, and I tell a lot of the agents when I'm coaching them, it's like that buyer's agent can make me look like a hero or a zero to that seller
really fast.
And so it's not necessarily always the highest offer that I'm looking for as a listing agent. It's that agent's reputation, it's the clean offer, the way they wrote the offer that gives me a lot of insight to who I'll be working with in the future, right?
Yep.
So we've got an offer accepted. We're opening escrow. It's the beginning of that process. What does that look like?
Yeah, well, obviously nerves are rising, and it's our job to really let you know, hold your hand and let you know, look, so our first objective is we need to get our money deposit into escrow.
Right.
We open that line of communication with the buyer and the escrow company.
And we've got 72 hours to get that money wired into escrow.
Got 72 hours. And then next, we're going to work on setting up our inspections. So we want to get a home inspector, maybe a roofer, electrician, things out there to inspect the property. This is kind of our time to kick the tires, so to speak.
Yeah,
right?
I love it.
Envision yourself in the property. Make sure that it's in good condition. Make sure the bones are good.
Right. And then obviously the appraisal.
And get the appraisal ordered. Yep.
So as a buyer's agent, our big 3 things that we talk about is getting the money in, getting the appraisal ordered, and getting your inspection set up. And I think right now, more than ever, I mean, sewer inspections are kind of been the main thing now. It used to be just a general home inspection, and now we're actually seeing sewer inspections to be pretty common as being part of that general inspection.
I think what's happening is families are now, you'll see families, but also adult children are living in houses. So we're seeing the sewer lines being used a lot more than they were actually built to handle.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that has definitely been on the thing for us to make sure we get a sewer line inspection. They're a little pricey, but I think they're worth it down the road, because to replace one of those things can be 10, 15, 20,000 we've seen.
I like to tell buyers, like, congratulations, we're in escrow. We're going to do a little bit of work in the beginning, and then in the middle, there's really not much for us to do, and then we come together at the closing, because after we get the money in, after we get the home inspections done, after the appraisal's done, really, and then maybe negotiate any repairs or credits or anything like that. We'll go over disclosures, we'll go over escrow instructions, kind of all that opening paperwork. And then there's probably maybe up to 2 weeks where our job is done for that meanwhile, right? Escrow's doing their job, the lender's doing their job, they're communicating, they're working on getting your loan approved, and then your loan's approved.
Yeah.
Right? So I like to let everybody know that the loans come back in 2 phases, right?
Yeah.
There's a loan approval gets called out, and a prior to doc condition and a prior to funding condition.
Right.
Prior to doc conditions are going to be all the things that a lender's going to need prior to issuing the loan document. So it's going to be maybe an updated pay stub, maybe an updated credit report to re-rate their FICO scores, proof that the deposits hit the escrow, maybe a letter of inquiry about a recent hit, or it's typically about 8 or 9 things that the lender needs to turn into the underwriter before they actually are going to make that commitment to issue the loan docs.
Gotcha. Okay.
And on our loan contingencies, we're looking at about a 17-day process, right?
Yeah.
Now, I think it's important for buyers to realize that to get a loan approved in 17 days, that's fast.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a conversation that we're going to have with them that says, hey, day 17 might come and we may not have an actual written loan approval yet. It's coming.
Yeah.
We know that based upon your credit and your income, you qualify, and the property is appraised. The 3 things that they need to have are there. But man, that underwriter just hasn't put that stamp on it. And we might have to draw a line in the sand and say, hey, we're going to trust in our lender that it's coming. And that listing agent may require us to remove that contingency before that appraisal, that approval is actually in writing. And some listing agents, they know we're in the trenches. They've been in the same position as we have been, and they might give us a few. And most of them do.
Yeah,
most of them will give you.
This is kind of where the white hairs start to set in.
Yeah. And I think that's where, as agents, that interaction with that listing agent, just to let them know where we're at in the process, that brings that comfort level that says, hey, we know it's going to happen.
And again, it comes with the reputation of, ourselves and the communication line that we've already established.
Right.
If a lot of times on our end, when we're the listing agent, hey, if I feel like, hey, I'll give you a couple extra days because I know you're working. I know things are moving. Hey, look, I understand that there may be a hiccup. There may be a day where this didn't happen, and you got to know that sometimes when you're working with lenders, like their funding department isn't local. Sometimes they're in a different state, so it's like, hey, look, it's 2:00 here, but 6:00 there. I couldn't get a hold of them.
That's a good point. Now more than ever, if you're going to buy a home, don't go with one of these online lenders, right? The Quicken Loans or the Rocket Mortgage. Their funding's in Idaho, their doc department's in Colorado, and their processing's in Minnesota. And it's like they're all on different time zones operating on, pick somebody local. If you're going to do a refi, man, have at it. Because whether that thing closes in 30 or 45 days, it's okay. But when you're buying a home, go with a reputable local lender, right? More than important.
I'd agree.
So now the lender met that.
Okay.
It's day 18, day 19. We've already started removing contingencies as we go. And our first contingency removed was probably our inspections and then disclosures.
And just in case our viewers don't know what a contingency is, basically periods of time to where you can inspect the property. Make sure that the home came in at value. Yeah. Make sure, all these different things, make sure that they meet your standards.
Sure, okay. Absolutely. And either you're going to withdraw your offer because you didn't like them, or you're going to maybe say, hey, Mr. Seller, if you fix these 5 items, I'll stay in the deal. Or maybe you fix some items and give me a credit, or maybe just give me a credit and I'll stay in the deal. But at some point, that other agent and that seller is going to ask you to start removing some contingency.
So I can stay in the deal for, let's just say, 14 days because that's how much time I have for my inspection. And I can pull out of the contract, and will I lose my deposit?
Nope. Okay. 100%.
So you can be in this deal for 2 weeks and still get your
deposit's 100% protected. In fact, your deposit's going to be protected until the date that I call you and say, hey, Matt, it's time to remove all those contingencies.
Okay.
And that's the main line in the sand, and that's where you risk the possibility of losing your deposit. There's certain circumstances where even if you go beyond that, your deposit's not in jeopardy. But for the most part, that deposit's going to be in jeopardy. Okay. But we're at that stage. It's day 17. It's day 18. We removed the contingencies.
Okay.
We've got prior to funding conditions. Now, these probably don't have anything to do with the buyer anymore or us anymore. They're internal documents such as proof that the buyer got his insurance, proof that he's wired in his closing monies, little internal maybe disclosures that needed to get in. They'll meet that, and then they'll say, hey, we got our commitment to close.
Cool.
Now we know as agents we're probably 5, 7, 8 days away from really closing.
Okay, and this is what you were alluding to earlier, the second part of
this is now we come back, we're meeting back, we're back on a one-on-one basis again with the buyer. It's kind of interesting because it's like you're with a buyer so intimate every day, showing properties, writing offers, and then you get these offers together, and then it's like almost like a little breakup period, and then you make up and you're back again, and it's like this honeymoon, and then we're moving to closing. Yeah. So they issue your loan docs.
Okay.
Buyer goes in and signs them. After they sign them, I typically like to take the buyers out, right? We take them to the property. We do our walkthrough.
Right.
Right. Our walkthrough is really there to make sure that the buyer, that the property is really in the same condition that we last saw it.
Right. No holes in the wall.
No holes in the wall. No, they didn't take the carpet or the chandelier.
It's in the same condition you remember it in, right?
The contract says the property is to maintain in the same condition that you last saw it.
Okay.
Once we've done that, we've done our walkthrough, we kind of advise the buyer, go get your money, wire it into escrow. And we know that within 3 days after that, we're probably closing.
Yep.
And I think what they should know about LA is we fund on one day and we record on another day.
Right.
Other counties will allow you to do a same day recording.
Okay.
Meaning you can fund your deal on Tuesday and record it on Tuesday. LA County, probably over 10 years ago, they stopped that.
Right.
So you've got to fund your loan on one day, record on that day. So that happens, right? We wire in the money. They say, congratulations, your loan has funded. We run out, we grab them a set of keys.
Right.
We get them their Cutco closing gift.
Their closing gift. Yeah.
Right? And then we run over, hand them the keys, give them
yeah.
the property, and let them know we're bringing the carne asada to the party after they move in.
Closing's an interesting feeling, you know, because it's like you said, we're at the beginning, you know, where we spend all this time together, and it feels like a breakup, and it is hard, you know, to hand the keys and like, you know,
hey, we're not going to be talking.
We're not going to be talking anymore, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, they become your friends, they become family, and you know, it's a happy day, but for us, it always feels like a sad day, in a sense, because we go home, we're like, man, like I'm not talking to this person anymore, you know.
I get
it's bittersweet, you know.
Yeah. I tell them like, and I'll even tell them, hey guys, this is the breakup time.
Yeah.
You know, we hug. But you know, the best part is when they call us a couple weeks later and they take a picture of them swimming in the pool, or are using the knife and the Cutco knife, and they're making breakfast or lunch or something like that. So I guess let's just recap the buying process, right? We get out, we dream with them. We help them in their pre-qualification process. Mm-hmm. We write really clean offers.
Right, get them accepted.
We look at comps, obviously. We look at the values, where the market trends are going. We guide them on a good price with good terms.
Yeah.
We negotiate any requests for repairs, anything that goes along.
Correct.
Then we kind of back out a little bit because the lender and the title company and the escrow company, they're doing their stuff back in.
We almost got to kind of babysit in a way, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think you and I, we know we're pretty clear with our servicers saying that, hey, we've done our job. They got to do their job. Let us know if there's any hiccups. If we got to jump in anywhere, we will. But there's a little policing that we do. Yeah. And then as we get ready for closing, we step back in for the signing of the loan documents, the funding of the loan, the final walkthrough, and then handing over the keys.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's it's a condensed version of the buying process. Obviously, if there's more information that you're interested in, please feel free, you know, reach out. We'd be more than happy to do a one-on-one consultation and dream with you and, you know, start the process with you. But other than that, no, I think we pretty much nailed it. Obviously, there's a finance portion that could probably be another topic. You know, that's a whole different set. But I think for the whole buying process, it's a pretty good, you know, set of rules that we have, you know, that we, you know, articulated.
Yeah, I think that was good. There should be a link down below, Calendly, that if you want to book a 30-minute meet with us, we'd be more than happy to meet with you guys. And listen, Matt and I, we're here, love what we do. We're a family-run business, and just excited to be part of that home buying process with you guys. So feel free to reach out to us anytime.
Yep.
All right, guys, we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.